Well, hello everybody, good day. Today I'd like to talk to you about the cultural norms of Ecuador. And this is a top 10 list of things that I've thought of that maybe I would pass along to you. You might want to consider these things as what you're going to run into when you move here to Ecuador. Number 1, everybody aims to please, right? So nobody has the ability, most people do not have an ability to say no. So, you could ask them for directions to some place and they will most definitely give you directions. It's just they, likely have no clue what you're talking about, but they'll tell you, yeah, go down, take a left the next street, and then it'll be straight ahead. You'll see it, and it's very detailed. It's crazy. And you follow the directions to a T and, you're out in the boonies. It's like, wait, how did we just get here? This is not right. And I don't know if they're just trying to save face or, just kind of telling you what they think you want to hear. But yeah, that's just one example. But definitely everybody is here aiming to please and, so it's just one thing to consider is that you'll have that happen to you when you're here. So just be ready for it. Number 2, Gringo Pricing. Now, it's not personal. At least, they're not considering it rude or unfair. I think they just have a look at you and they think, well, you clearly have more money than us and we have less just in general. So you can fork it out, right? And I think it's just a subconscious thing. And so without even thinking about it, the price just goes up. Now, this isn't everybody Gringo pricing you. Oftentimes at the local markets, you'll find that, it's the same price for a local that you see purchase something, and then they charge you the same price. But if you're, going to maybe, let's say, Loja instead of Vilcabamba here in southern Ecuador, Loja is a slightly larger city, right? And you go to the markets there, they don't see as many expats. So when you show up, they will just charge you more than, their next door neighbor that comes in and they know that person doesn't have very much to show for themselves. And so, it's a quarter. Then they charge us 50 cents. It's subtle, but I think at the end of the day, Gringo Pricing is a cultural norm here in Ecuador. Number 3, no personal space. Yeah, so this took me a minute to get used to, but it was really pronounced when I was traveling here years back before I moved here, and I was at the airport. And it was like people were literally bumping into me and standing within 6 inches, a foot of me, and I was like, what's happening right now? We're all sardined in, and it's like, we're not going anywhere, people. Like, there's at least 10 people in front of me, we've got another 15-20 minutes here. Why are you so close? And then on future trips, I would notice that, it's just a general thing. People don't have this sense of personal space. They don't really mind to give other people space. They don't get space themselves. And so, yeah, that's just one thing that I guess maybe I should say COVID might have changed some of that, where now everybody has to give each other the 6 feet, if you will. But yeah, it's a thing. No personal space. Number 4, they highly respect elders, disabled, and pregnant women. And so you'll even see this in the grocery stores where they'll have the signs that hang above the lanes and the registers, and it'll show pregnant women and, disabled logo, all of that good stuff, because they really do highly value and respect the elders. And if you're pregnant or if you have a disability, it's a thing here for sure. And just out and about, it's giving them the right of way, and they're definitely honored in this society. Number 5, it's a collective society and not like an independent, focused society. So let me explain. Like in the United States, well, I'll just speak for myself. When I grew up, I, looked forward to moving out, right? Turn 18, all right, I'm going to go get myself an apartment. I'm going to go live by myself and have my friends over, and I'm going to be out of the house. And if you're still living with your parents and you're, 22, let alone in your 30s, it's somewhat frowned upon, and there are jokes made of it, and so on and so forth. Well, in Ecuador, it's the complete opposite. Extended families live together, not just immediate families. Extended families live together in the same homes. Oftentimes because out of necessity, they need to live together. But I know others that are definitely, they have money and they're still living with extended family. And they really do. They value their family life. And on Sundays, families get together and hang out. It's a very collective society in that sense. And so you'll see that. It's definitely something that is pronounced here in Ecuador, and I think it's awesome. Number 6, withholding information or details. So, this could seem like they're lying to you, maybe by not giving you all the information, but their response to you is going to be like, well, you didn't ask. It's non-contextual language, right? So if you ask for specifics, you'll get that information. It's no problem, but let me give you an example, right? So I'm on the coast, and we show up to this national park beach. And I show up, and you have to pay admission, right? And so I pay the admission, and it takes another 10 minutes to get to the beach from that front entrance area. And we get all of our stuff ready, and we walk then the boardwalk to the beach. We show up, we set up our umbrella, we put our stuff down, we kick our feet up, and it's no more than like 10 minutes later, there's a guy coming around trying to get everybody to leave. And, we're like, wait, what's happening? And it was closing at 3 o'clock. They close. I'm not sure why 3 o'clock is the hour that they close, and we didn't see it coming, but we kind of thought, why didn't the guy at the front entrance tell us it was closing in 30 minutes? We show up, we pay, and we aren't informed that it closes in 30 minutes when he knows it's going to be 10 minutes to get to the beach. You have to get your stuff together just to get to the beach and turn around and leave. So, when you ask a specific question, you'll get a specific answer. But they don't just give you all of the information and details. They withhold it. And I think it's a cultural thing, right? I don't think they're doing it on purpose, but this goes across the board. When you're just like, how did you not think to tell me that? They just didn't think to tell you. And it's okay. But one thing you'll definitely need to consider. Number 7. There is bartering everywhere. Now, you're used to bartering at little, street markets and that kind of a thing. And, people are selling their trinkets and you barter. Most people are used to that when traveling. But in Ecuador, you can barter at major commercial and corporate stores. So, if you're at a department store, you can ask if there's a discount. Oftentimes, there is, and you didn't know, or you just needed to ask, or they say if you pay cash, we'll give you a discount. So if you don't need to get a receipt or a factura, then sometimes they'll just give you a cash discount. So it's not rude. It's definitely something you should do when you're out shopping in Ecuador, is to always ask for a discount. Number 8. Ecuador has a non-confrontational culture. They're super kind, and you'll generally get your way if you remain calm in situations where maybe you want to, be angry or act out or raise your voice. My recommendation is to just not do that, because they just don't deal well with confrontation, and they just look at you like, well, what's happening right now? Like, this dude's crazy. And it's just for raising your voice, So it's not going to help you. So if you're considering moving to Ecuador and you love confrontation, it might be something to reconsider, or just get it together, right? You don't need to be cruising around and yelling at everybody. Here, it's not going to go well for you. Number 9, customer service is not a priority here. So now you would think, well, what does that mean, right? The lack of long-term thinking for client retention is just not instilled in them. So they really do like to get what they can get, and they want it right now, and they're just looking at the present moment about how they can get the most out of you or the most out of a situation, and they're not looking at how that could affect their business long term. Like in the United States, most businesses are looking at how they can increase client retention, and it's not even on anybody's mind here to begin with. They're not worried about poor online reviews, so on and so forth. So oftentimes you can ask for a manager, and it's not going to do you any good. Like the manager's going to side with the employee, and it's just, they're going to be against whatever you're trying to say. They get defensive, it doesn't exist. The client is not always right here in Ecuador. And number 10, time does not have very much value in Ecuador. All right, so that equates to a lack of efficiency. The minimum wage is $2.50. So, you find people just not having that sense of urgency. They show up late. It's normal here. So, in other countries in the world, time does have value, and people are paid a lot to do what they do. And so people tend to not waste each other's time. But here in Ecuador, you can take people's time, and it's not a big deal at all because they don't value it. It's fine for them to spend a couple hours with you doing something where you look back and you're like, wow, how did that person just spend 2 hours with me? I can't believe that just happened. But it does, and so it has its pros and cons. But at the end of the day, time does not have very much value, and so it can be reversed as well, where they take up your time and you just want to get things done. And for example, people will stand for hours in a line for a bank, and it's just normal. There's no need to increase the efficiency at the bank because no one else values time. So it is what it is. Spend your time after work just waiting in line at the bank. But there it is, guys. Those are the top 10 cultural norms that I could think of here in Ecuador. Do you know of any yourself? Have you traveled here, and have you noticed or witnessed something in Ecuador that you'd like to note? Leave us a comment down in the comments section. We'd love to hear from you. Please like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the notification bell so that you can be notified of all of our upcoming videos, and we will see you next time. Ciao!